Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Get your delicious cup of coffee and get ready. Because today is the day of the debate. I'll be periscoping later for that, but for now, it's coffee time. Oh, what a day. This is like the most fun day of the most fun year of all time. I'm hearing from people already who are saying that they're going to miss this. You know, the day the election is over, people are going to start saying, no, it's not as fun anymore. I don't use a creamer. I drink it black here at home. Is Dilbert a straight white male? He is for now. I've threatened to change him. The year I decide to retire, I might give him some kind of a revelation. Your article is a fake because? They're all fake becauses. Have I taught you nothing? It's Christmas come early. They say 100 million people might watch the debate tonight. I'll bet that's true. Well, actually, it's not exactly black coffee because there's this crema stuff that let's see, you can see it. See how it looks like there's cream in it? There really isn't. The coffee maker adds air to it. So it kind of froths it up, so it takes the bitterness out. So, isn't that cool? Somebody's too nervous to watch the debate tonight? So tonight I think you might see the trumpeting. That's a word that somebody probably already came up with. The trumpeting. So, I'm hearing pretty much everybody say what I said a while ago, at least the pundits, that Trump has the easier path at this point. Now, I've been saying that for a long time, way before we were even thinking about the debates, is that all he had to do was act like he's not a crazy racist, and that's all it would take. So he's doing his best imitation of someone who's not crazy. But to be fair, he's had a few questionable moments and comments and stuff, but they don't rise to the same level as things used to. And some of that is because there's just so much news. I mean, the news is just full of news. It's just the most newsworthy few weeks between the terrorism, the police attacks, and all that. So Trump's small gaffes, if you can call them that, they first of all were used to them. And by the way, do you remember almost a year ago, I think, the first time I told, if there's anybody here who can confirm that I'm not making this up, that would be great, that I predicted that Trump's style is what I'll call a New York style, where he swears a lot and he's abrasive and he talks about violence too much, the same thing that New Yorkers tend to do. I told you that you would get used to him, that the public would anyway. That doesn't mean every one of you, but the public will get used to the fact that he talks like Trump. And it might be my imagination, but doesn't it seem like the last, 5 things that Trump said, they should have just stopped the earth from turning and been the focus of the news for a week, just sort of came and went. Like people didn't look at them the same anymore. What do you think? I'm not imagining that, right? It looks like the same amount of offensiveness. It just doesn't bother us anymore. We just got used to it. Now, some of it is that there's more negative news about Clinton or health and whatnot, and emails and foundations and stuff. But yeah, we just got used to it. But we also start to understand him differently now, because at this point we've watched a pattern. When it comes to matters of security and safety, the nation's security and safety, Trump always takes the most extreme, badass position. And then people complain and they say, my God, how can you suggest something that would, the military would not even, follow those orders. It's unconstitutional. It's impractical. We tried it before. It doesn't work. And all those things. And then you just wait a little bit, and then he clarifies, and it's not as bad as you thought it was. I mean, it's still worse or more extreme than other people are saying. But the thing you remember is that emotionally he agreed with you. And here's what I mean by that. When let's say there's a terrorist attack, and then Trump comes out with one of his Trump-like statements that, he wants to waterboard people or, bomb the shit out of them or, deny access to the country for some people from some religion or something like that. These days when you hear that, you tell yourself, that's probably just Trump making a big first offer. Because now you've seen the pattern a few times. And he doesn't actually seem that scary anymore, because he's moderated his tone as well as his, the things he's saying. All right, so look presidential with Netanyahu. Yeah, that was a pretty big deal visually and, just in terms of the optics. Waterboarding isn't even extreme. I'm very curious about what waterboarding feels like. I almost want to be waterboarded for like just a very short time, like 10 seconds or something, because I can't really wrap my head around what makes that as awful as people report it to be. I mean, it must be pretty awful, but it's hard to imagine it without actually having it happen. Hillary pulled out of Ohio, you mean just a stop? When is the debate happening? It's 9:00 Eastern time, so on my time zone it would be 6 p.m. Your year is getting spookier. You haven't seen anything yet. A lot of people have been emailing me and saying, "Oh my God, we've had so much fun this year," or your predictions are accurate or whatever. I always say the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's just beginning. And by that I don't mean just my predictions, but we're on the cusp of something here that I think is much bigger than just electing a president. There is a complete change of awareness. I think there's like a fundamental shift of awareness that's happening right now. Capitulating, huh? Trump is ahead in Bloomberg, yeah, well, still within the margin of error, but I think he's a point ahead, yes. What if Hillary starts coughing? Let's talk about that. So it seems to me that she could cough a little bit and still say it's the lingering pneumonia. So a few coughs, if she gets over it, even if they have to take a short break or something, I think she's still close enough to her pneumonia that she can say, "Look at me, I'm a brave trooper. Even with my pneumonia, I'm coming up here trying to make the world a better place." But if she just looks bad, like when she's coughing, she just doubles over like an old woman, and people run to her aid and stuff, the optics are going to be terrible. If her eyes cross, it's over. Yeah, the eyes crossing thing happens so quickly. If it's on video, you may not notice it. Or if it happens, it'll be fleeting, so it might not be a big deal. But I'll tell you what, here's the biggest thing. So you know that there's a brain-body thing going on, right? If I yawned right now, there's, let's see, 1.1, there's over 1,000 people here. If I were to yawn, I could probably make 100 people yawn just by yawning right now, because once it's in your mind, it gets translated into action. I think that there may be people in the audience wearing chokers. Do you know what a choker is? When women wear this little, it's like a collar, but it's usually made out of fabric. And if I were a Trump supporter, I would take note of the current fashions, and one of the things that's in right now is chokers. And I think you could go to the audience wearing a choker, and nobody would throw you out. Yeah, scarf, not as good, because you want the word choker to be in there. Because anybody who sees a choker and knows about fashion, and Hillary Clinton would know about fashion, and she would know what a choker was, is going to see it, and your brain just automatically fills in the word, right? If you see an elephant, your brain goes, elephant. Like it actually provides the actual word. So if she were to see somebody wearing a choker, the word would fill in her mind, and then that word again would fill in with the actual coughing, choking and coughing. So people wearing chokers, it's likely it would make her cough. Now, what may be more to the point is that she's going to be thinking about it like crazy. Right? She's going to be thinking about how long she has to stand there, which is a long time, hour and a half. She's going to be thinking about her eyes getting crossed. She's going to be thinking about choking and coughing. And she's going to be thinking about all the surprises coming to her from Trump. But here's what she's also going to think. She's going to think that she thought that she had this thing in the bag. And this will be the week that I think she knows it's over. Realistically, I don't know if the Trump campaign has started running an ad where she does the "Why aren't I ahead by 50 points already?" that video. Every one of you have seen that by now, right? Actually, confirm that for me. Have every one of you seen the video of Clinton shrieking? And I think in this case you can use a word like shrieking, and it's not sexist. If you've seen the video, there's something wrong. There's something medically wrong with her. Yeah, notes. Yeah, so just about every one of you have seen it. Now you're more informed than the average voter. But do you think there's anybody who can watch that video and not think there's something medically wrong with her? So now the whole world has seen that. And by the way, I was trying to figure out. I was trying to be junior doctor like everybody is right now, and we shouldn't be because it's deeply irresponsible. But because she's a public figure and everybody's talking about it, it's hard to resist. If you had to guess what was wrong with her on that video, what would be your guess? Now I'm going to tell you my guess in a little bit. So here's a new question. All right, here's a new question. If you saw the video where Clinton said, "Why aren't I already ahead by 50 points?" Tell me what you thought was wrong with her. Alzheimer's? I don't know how that would be. Dementia, Parkinson's, paranoia, brain tumor. I don't know exactly meds, so meds could do it, I think. Brain damage, asthma, drugged, cognitive dissonance, neurological, angry, anxiety. No one has guessed what I'm going to guess. All right, there's a far more obvious answer. Oh God, I can't believe it. Seriously, there's not one person who has. There it is, alcohol. She looked drunk. Think about the video now. All right, think about the video, and then think drunk. Can you see it? And by the way, I have no reason to think she was drunk, but if you looked at how she acted on the video, alcohol would be my first guess. Now I would put the odds of that, 20% or something, right? So I'm not going to say she was drunk in that video, but if you, just as an observation, if you were looking at it and you said to yourself, "What is wrong with the video?" She looked fucked up. She looked drunk. Now that you've heard it, now that I've said it, yeah, because you've heard that she's angry and you've heard that she drinks, so angry, drunk. Now that you've heard me say that, so here's the confirmation bias that was working. When you see a politician doing something important on camera where they had time to prepare, they knew they were going to be on camera, you just assume she's not drinking. So you see that all of you people who are already, you were primed to think the worst about her because most of you are Trump supporters. You were already primed to think the worst. And drunk wasn't even on your list. Why? Why isn't that in the top 3, at least? Because if you saw your neighbor just random person on camera acting like that, wouldn't drunk be in your top 3 guesses? It would, right? Because even other drugs you take. Name one other drug that makes you angry. Can you think of one? I mean, I don't know of any medicines that make you angry that she might be on. Yeah. So it not only changed the tone of her voice, so you know how drunks talk too loud and they don't know it? Right? All drunks talk too loud and they don't know it. The tone of their voice often changes. All your friends get a higher voice, drinking. By the way, I wonder if Newt Gingrich was suggesting that the other day. He did a funny impression on Hannity of her high-pitched voice. He didn't give any guesses about why the morphine does that to some. I'm kind of doubting that because morphine seems like it would just knock you out. You get humble when you're drunk. Yeah, but not everybody gets humble when they're drunk. Xanax with an amphetamine bump. All cause irritability. Do they? Would it cause... So, there are 2 kinds of irritability, all right? Regular irritability where you're tired, and I can imagine regular pharmaceutical meds would make you tired. Here's what that irritability looks like. This is my impression. So damn mad at all you, but I'm tired, I'm irritable, damn it. That's what you look like when you're tired and irritable. When you're drunk and irritable, here's how you look. I don't know why I'm not already 50 points ahead. See the difference? Dehydrated, big thyroid. All right. But let me ask you the question. Now that you've heard anything but drunk, you really can't, can you? Nope. Do you? And now that I have explained it, and for those of you who've seen the video, can you believe in your wildest dreams that she could ever be president after that video? Because I'm pretty sure anybody who sees that video is not going to make you. Alcohol makes you dehydrated. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I'm a speed reader. By the way, on your list of things which you should learn to speed read. It's something I learned in high school. I'm not like an official speed reader, but just the basic skill of not looking at every letter and just sort of looking at the paragraph and learning to sort of absorb it as one and then put the words back in order in your head. And by the way, I think my dyslexia helps me be a speed reader because when I read things, I don't see them in order in the first place. I see all the words and then I reform them in my head to what order they must be in. And I think being dyslexic probably helps that because I'm always reforming words in the order that they should have been because I don't see them as they should be. Cruz sold his email list. It's funny that he sold it. Stimulants make people angry? I'd need confirmation of that. But do stimulants make you angry in that particular way, where you change the tone of your voice and you start speaking loudly? That's a very specific spice addiction. All right, let's talk about tonight. Rise rage? I don't know what that is. What do I think else has contributed? Probably a lot. Drunk is more probable. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been around that many opiates, however you pronounce that. But I've been around a lot of drunk people, and I know all the drunk people act like that. Tonight, well, I'll be on by at least 6. My lovely and beautiful neighbor, Christina, will be bringing me some Chinese food tonight when she comes over. Bringing us both some Chinese food. And she might get here a little early. I haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, all the pundits are second guessing. What's Trump going to do? Is he going to be, typical Trump and interesting? I heard Geraldo say last night, no, he can't be presidential. People will be disappointed. He's got to be his usual interesting Trump self. I'm not sure. I think he just has to not be Hillary Clinton, and he has to just not be crazy, which he has so far managed to do in all of the debates. So thinking he can't do it one more time would be insane. So I think just not being crazy will be good enough. Having a little bit more control of the facts, maybe stay away from his most let's say, famous statements that would be fact-checked against him. Drunk plus stimulants. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But drunk alone would explain it, too. Drunk plus stimulants would explain it, wouldn't it? So people are talking about, so let me say a few things. Here's some things that have happened before the debate. So Trump apparently must have negotiated that it's 90 minutes of standing with no breaks. That sounds like it came from Trump, right? So in a sense, he's already winning the debate because he's won the pre-debate. So he's won the pre-debate. But Trump is also talking about how the moderator is a Democrat who will be biased against him, as will all the other debates. The moderators will be biased against him. Now, it turns out that Lester Holt is actually a registered Republican, so he's not so Democratic after all. But it's still smart for Trump to say exactly what he did. It doesn't even matter what the facts are. He wants to put in people's mind that the moderators will be unfair to him. Because what that does is it makes the moderators try a little harder to be fair to him. So that's good persuasion, I guess, persuasion in advance. So he's won the bias contest with the moderators. He probably already got the moderators he wanted, or he wouldn't be there. He got a situation where there's no third-party candidates, which I'm sure he wanted. He got, Hillary's not standing on something, but apparently they adjusted the size of the podium, so she has a smaller podium than his. But she's still going to look like the miniature candidate if she's the small candidate at the small podium. I don't know if that's real. I saw a picture of it, but it looked like her podium was shorter so that she would look, at least if she's on camera alone, she'd look the same height as Trump. If Hillary coughs, should Trump say frog in throat? Oh my God, that would be epic. Am I going to apply persuasion to Christina? Do you think I should? I know. What do you think her boyfriend would say about that? What do you think my girlfriend would say about that? She's a woman. Of course she's smaller. Yeah, but visually, whether or not you think it's obvious she should be smaller and that her physical height makes no difference at all, the truth is we usually vote for the taller candidate because we're rational people. So it will matter visually, and visually will translate. Can he trigger her by clearing his throat? Probably a little bit. She was in Maui at the same time as me? What are the odds of that? Models are tall. Yeah. I don't know who Christina's voting for. I'll have to ask her. What new insult? I don't think he'll have a new insult. If I had to guess, I would think he'll either have some new policy ideas, which would actually be a good idea. Because if you introduce something new, it forces people to talk about it. And the more they're talking about your new thing, the better. She was in my room with a red bikini. Where was I? Christina is an 11. That's not true. She's at least a 15. Any word from Sam Harris? Well, we have not communicated. I will be watching the debate with Christina. She's coming over to co-host. She's bringing me the Chinese food. Handle the birther thing? I think he can handle the birther thing easily, the way he has. So the thing is they kind of run out of time. So both of them can just run out the clock because you have to get to the next question. So both of them can say the same bullshit answers they've been saying the whole time, regardless of how ridiculous they are. It just has to sound good on camera and sound confident. Just have to sound not flustered, sound not like a racist. But the actual facts and policies and blah, 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 they probably won't matter much at all. I saw somebody the other day, or I think last night. I forget who it was, some expert on these things, maybe an expert on past presidential events. And they always talk about the small moments, the little one-liner that you remember, the physical look of somebody, whether they sweat, the look in their face. So those things probably are the things that matter. It's going to be just the vibe. How do you feel about it when you're done? I don't think Jennifer Flowers will be in. I think it would be the smartest thing that Trump could do is not have Jennifer Flowers there. Because at this point, everybody thought about it. And by the way, she might be looking for her. So it's even funnier if she's not there. Because they're going to be looking for her. What if Clinton is up there just looking to see if there's anybody in the audience that she's not supposed to see? And by the way, those of you who have not given speeches in those situations, because it's on TV especially, the lights are going to be blaring, and there's a real question of how much anybody can see of the audience. Now, you might be able to see the first row, but anything beyond, say, the second, third row is going to start to become just this glare, glare of lights to you. You'll maybe you can see the first row or so. So if you were to not put Jennifer Flowers there at all, it's going to cause Hillary to look around at the audience because she's going to have time to look at the audience, and she'll sort of be looking for her, which it might even be worse. And then Trump can claim, no, that was just a tweet. I was just, replying in kind to the Mark Cuban will be there suggestion. But of course, I am not so tacky that I would bring her there. That would be the funniest, classiest thing, because he got all the benefit he needs. And by the way, having her actually there probably won't make any difference, right? Because he's given Clinton enough time to mentally adjust to it. So whether she was there or not, it wouldn't make any difference at this point. But it would make a difference to how you viewed Trump. So how about just don't bring her? Mark Cuban is helping Trump. Did you see the video of him getting on stage and raising arms with Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton, she did the same thing to Tim Kaine. When Hillary Clinton raises your arm with her, like you're holding it, it doesn't look like a winning moment. I don't know if that's just my own bias, but the guys in those situations, they look emasculated because, they're larger, so just biologically. And here I'm talking about bias and, so I'm not talking about anything commonsensical here. I'm talking about when you just look at them optically, you see a large man, Kaine or Mark Cuban. And in both cases, she did the same thing on stage, grabbed their hand and held it in the air, yay, victory. But because the men are bigger physically, and she's sort of claiming the higher mantle, because she's, the candidate, right? They're the helpers. She emasculates them in front of people. Now, she's not trying to do that, and there's no logical reason that anybody's emasculated, right? Because, in fact, they're up on the stage with, somebody who's in the top two to be president of the United States. So, rationally, that's exactly not what's happening. But visually, these large men are being turned into insignificant helpers, and they're being made to physically correspond to what she wants them to do, like actually raising their hand and looking awkward. My hand's up. I'm so happy that you did this and grabbed my hand and made me look stupid. How long do I have to stand here smiling like I'm happy that my hand is in the air? Because I'm not really happy. I don't feel comfortable like this with my hand in the air. Please let my hand go down. So that's one of the disadvantages of being not just a woman, but being a certain height, because it's the combination of being a woman of a smaller stature, just physically, that the optics don't look good. When she raises some larger male's hand and says, "Hey, is there any endorsement that would matter?" I really don't know at this point. I don't think there is. Drink my coffee? Oprah. I doubt it. All right, hold on just a second. Take a look at my house. I had to scratch my nose. Couldn't let you see that. Cupid's nuts in a pickle jar. Yeah. My endorsement matters. Does anybody think my endorsement matters? Who do you think would change their vote because of me? If nobody changes their vote, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to the people who already are on that side. Yeah, I'm not sure endorsements make much difference to anybody. If you want to judge how much influence I've had on the election, this is how you do it. And you wouldn't do it in terms of somebody changed their vote because of anything I endorse. The way you do it, and this is the way persuaders do it, by the way, and the way we are doing it when we talk with each other about this, you look for words or phrases that were unique to me, and then see them in other people's writing. And when you see that, a word or a phrase, for example, the word persuasion, can you think of any past election where the word persuasion was used a lot? But this time you do see a lot. Falwell helped you decide? Yeah, I can see that. I think a religious person's endorsement might move people. I could see that. So you would also look, if you were trying to determine if I had any influence on this election, you would look to see if other people's writing, so Mike Cernovich, you can see his influence all over the election. He's another influencer. You would also look for ideas that you saw on my blog to start coming out of other people's mouths, especially if they're ideas that aren't common ones. So if you see any uncommon ideas that were in the blog that come out of people's mouths on TV, then you could assume that there's some influence, at least in the thought process. Did I bet money on Trump? Don't you think I should have? Won't get invited back tomorrow, maybe. So CNN reached out to some notable people to ask them to contribute a question for tonight's debate. So apparently Lester Holt would be provided with some questions from people who were famous enough that CNN would ask them to submit a question. Now, that doesn't mean they would use them all, but they would look at what they had and maybe use some or one. And CNN reached out to me by email and asked me to submit a question. So I actually had a chance to submit a question for tonight's debate. And I missed the email. I didn't see it until the deadline had already run out. So think how weird that is. Think how weird it is to be me. All right? I'm literally just sitting in my kitchen here, writing some blogs, making some comics. And I had the opportunity anyway, which I missed, to provide a question to the debate. And now imagine if I had provided a question. Do you think it would be a normal question? No, it would not be. It would be the best question that anybody asked at the debate, because it would be engineered, right? It wouldn't just be the same question somebody else asked. I would form the question in a way that would get you the most interesting answer that happened all night. And so I saw the request for a question, and I thought, damn it, I should check my email more than every 2 days. Which, by the way, is what I'm doing these days. I just stopped looking at my email all the time. I just look at it whenever I feel like it now. And I'm training people over time that if you're in a hurry and you've emailed me, it's not going to work out well for you. But in order to do that, I have to miss a lot of deadlines myself, which I do. But I can't be a slave to email, because I can't make my schedule based on whether other people decided to email me and ask me for stuff. Like I can't live my life according to the email demands on me. So I just sort of stop reading it unless I feel like it. You should pick a time every day to check. My schedule isn't that dependable. You have that luxury. I do. Why are white men not standing up for their culture? Because it's politically unacceptable. Example of your question. Here's a question I would ask. I'll give you an example. And you could ask this of both of them. You'd say, are there any health issues that are significant? So are there any significant health issues that you have not revealed to the public that could be important to your performance as president? Right? Now, the reason that you ask it this way is that instead of saying, have you released your health records, and then both of them say, yeah, my doctor released some stuff, and it meets the standard that you've all met. All right? Now, if Clinton has some hidden health problem, she also knows that it might come out later. So she wants the flexibility, and Trump would as well, that if something might come out on its own, and he already knows about it now, he can't look like the biggest liar in the world later, even if either candidate wins and becomes president. You can't have this come out later. It's not worth it. So if you say, is there anything you haven't told us that's significant to your health that would matter as in the job of president, what does Hillary Clinton do if the answer to that is yes? Now, if she says, I have released everything that past candidates have released, then she is essentially confirming that she has a major health problem and she doesn't want to tell you. Because otherwise she would say, no, I have no major health problems, and in fact, my doctor has told you everything that's important. Now that would be an actual affirmative, unambiguous answer. If you got that, I think you could believe it. Because later, she wouldn't even want to be president later, even if she won because of that lie, if it were a lie. She wouldn't want to win the presidency and then have this problem and people say, you just looked us right in the eye and you lied about having whatever the problem is. I don't think anybody can survive their presidency, as an effective president without being just driven out of office. If you told a lie that big, you just couldn't do it. So it would force her into a lie or a misdirection, right? So if you ask, it's important how you ask the question. If you said, will you release more doctor records? She will just say, I've released enough. I did as much as anybody ever does. But if you say, is there any major health problem that could affect you being president that you haven't told us yet? In that case, she's got to lie, if she has one, or she gives you an answer you believe, which is, no, I don't have any health problems that haven't been revealed that are of any consequence. And I've revealed all that everybody else reveals. If she said that, I'd say to myself, that sounds kind of believable, right? Because she wouldn't want to get caught on that later, and she would. She would get caught. So here's a question for you. Do you see Ted Cruz getting a cabinet position? And specifically, Can you see Ted Cruz as Secretary of Defense? There's a no chance, no chance. No. I think the answer is no also. Here's why I ask. I wrote a book in 2004, I think, called The Religion War, and in it, a group like ISIS had formed a caliphate in the Middle East, like ISIS, and was continuing to pester the West with lots of smaller terror attacks, nothing of the scale of 9/11, but lots of small stuff blowing up, like now. And in that imaginary future, the leader of NATO was General Horatio Cruz. So his last name was Cruz. Now he was the head of, he was the top general in NATO, and in this story, because of his position, he'd essentially taken over the world, except for the caliphate. So it would be a spooky thing if Cruz got a cabinet position that had anything to do with the military, either Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. Either of those would be just way too spooky, because that last name is, that would be a weird coincidence. Gave ISIS the idea? Yeah, I don't think so. He'll be doing TED Talks full time. Because I'll be on tonight. Everybody sign on tonight, so by 6 p.m. my time, which is California time, which might be 9 p.m. your time, which is East Coast time, or wherever you are, sign on tonight, and I will be watching the debates with you. Make sure you have your television on, tuned to CNN or wherever it is, because I'm going to have the sound of the TV off, so all you'll hear is any comments I make. All right? And my co-host, Christina Basham, will be with me, so that you don't have to look at me the whole time. And I'll see you tonight. I know you're going to be there. Don't miss it.